sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Hey everyone, this is Steve from Score Art Glass. Welcome to the channel. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. On this channel, I share my experience with stained glass and my journey that I am taking right now in creating stained glass artwork. And I hope to help you and others to discover the beauty of stained glass, learn the tips, tricks, and techniques that I've learned to create your own stained glass artwork. And if you want to support the channel, be sure to check out the Buy Me a Coffee link. It'll be in the description below. There you can check out the extras that I have, and I'll be putting some more information about supporting the channel there as well. I do have a goal listed there that I'm trying to meet, so that way I can get some new equipment and try some new things out, hopefully, and be able to share that with everybody. And tonight, we are actually going to be finishing up a project that I've been working on right now. It is a inspired piece from the Tokyo Olympics. It's got a torii and Mount Fuji and the rising sun or setting sun, however you want to look at it, in the background. You could probably say I'm probably fascinated by Mount Fuji. And I promise I will get back to the big Fuji project that I was doing. Ran into some little frustrations with that piece, and I needed to walk away for a little bit to kind of gather my thoughts, and then I'll go back and attack it as I move forward. So that'll be coming back onto the stream soon as well. With that, we will go ahead and get started. I have got, let's see here. Here is the view we're going to use mainly tonight. And this is to kind of give you the look. And hopefully when I move to soldering, it'll be close enough to be able to see the soldering that's going on as well. So again, this is, let me move this out of the way here, kind of bring this over. And I will actually turn it around so you could see. This is the piece we're going to be working on tonight. Ooh, there it went. Nothing ever goes as you seem, huh? But this is the piece that we will be working on tonight and finishing up the soldering on. First, we're going to do the foiling, and then we're going to do the soldering afterwards. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'll move it back over here out of the way. And get this so you can see it. Okay. So just got a few, I went ahead and did the torii, foiled it and everything. And then I'm going to go ahead and foil these larger pieces here. Again, when I foil, I'm using a tabletop foiler, and I like to make sure that my foil ends are on the inside of a seam or a solder line. So this foiler has actually helped quite a bit for me. I enjoy it. It's really, really nice in a sense that it aligns it, centers it up for you, and you can just roll things around and get right through, especially if they're larger pieces, get right through that foiling pretty easily. So I don't know if anybody watched the Olympics over the last couple of weeks, and then now I think the Paralympics is going on right now. I watched as much as I could with everything else that's going on, but I enjoyed it. U.S. did pretty well. in the medal count and so forth. I actually enjoy swimming, um, and then also uh, the diving, pretty cool, and then gymnastics. I really enjoy the gymnastics, just probably because I used to coach gymnastics, competitive gymnastics when I was younger, in my younger years, I should say. um, but yeah, I like those sports. And then I actually watched the skateboarding this year, just kind of neat. Um, and then I guess the rock climbing, man, some of that speed climbing is just a wow, really. They shoot up that wall so quickly and so forth. But um, and you see that I'm using some glass that is semi-transparent. So when you do get uh, light behind it, it will uh, tra- uh, fuse through. So don't be scared to use semi-transparent. Um, I like it just to so that you can get a little bit of light. Now, if I was going a straight art piece, I would probably use just non-transparent glass. But due to the fact that I will probably put this in an area where um, there's light and light can come through it near a window or something. So that's why I've used it. Now this is a personal piece of mine, so I can start accumulating my personal pieces. I think I've spent so much time trying to do pieces for others that I'm trying to make some personal pieces now, like I like the Fuji project, and I've got a couple other projects in the hopper, personal pieces, just because I am a fan of some of Japanese uh, manga and Japanese anime films and so forth. So some of that I'll be putting a video out on some upcoming work that I'm going to be doing, and pieces that I'm going to be doing that I'll be featuring here on the SG Live project work nights. All right. I'm going to continue on. I'm going to try and speed through this a little bit more because I want to make sure that I do get to the soldering tonight. I know the previous stream um, that when we were doing some foiling, I got a little behind because I kept talking too much, or I just didn't plan well enough. So I am going to make sure that we get on, and I'm going to stay on until we get through the soldering. So if you want to stay tuned and be a part of that, be my guest. I know people are busy and sometimes can't devote the entire night to something like this, or even Friday night, and a lot of people might be out ready to go somewhere. So um, that's okay. You can catch it on the replay when you have some time, and if you got any questions, you can put those in the comment section. And tonight, if you got any questions, you can put those in the chat, and I will do my best to answer what I can. Oop, looks like I got a little tag there. It was a little off when I started. So I am gonna have to go get my razor knife. That's not in reaching distance, so I have to run, get it over here off of the other table. I want to go ahead and get that tag while it's there. So I'd like to take them off as I see them because I might forget about it later, and I don't want to. Want to make sure I got an even solder line. All right. I used white that's got an iridescent finish on it for the mountain cap. Just kind of make it look like snow's melting away. It is a higher altitude and could be uh, springtime. I actually enjoy springtime more than summer. Summer just gets way too hot. Um, even though I am from the South, you would think that I would be used to that, but I've been up in my area up northern United States, or I should say Midwest, um, for what, probably more than 20 years now. So my body's adjusted to this weather pattern up here. It doesn't get as humid up here. At times it does, but as it does normally from the south where I was in Louisiana, outside New Orleans. So I do miss that area, miss Mardi Gras. That's always fun. Um, but had to go with jobs is so. But I do enjoy the area that I'm in now. Um, but eventually, I think at some point we'll start looking where we want to retire and so forth. Still a few years away. I'm not I'm not ready to retire yet. Now, if I could retire doing this, I would probably do it in a heartbeat because I just enjoy doing this type of work and everything for so it's just more enjoyable. Let me go ahead and do the other one so I don't lose track of where I'm at. So this piece, when I get done with it, I'm going to actually use some enamel paint, and in this piece that I am burnishing now, I am going to put the Olympic rings in between the Tory uprights. And that way, you know, I've got the representation of the Olympics, but I just didn't want it to be so prominent. That's kind of the reason why I did it this way and just going to draw the Olympic rings on the inside, just as a remembrance of them being in Japan this year. And then I am going to put um, some zinc. Uh, Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, some zinc edging around this. I was going to use cam edging, but I think I'm going to use some zinc edging just to make sure it's blocked off good. And I'll put that around after I get all uh, pretty much all my soldering done, and then I'll add that, and then I'll clean it up, and then I'll end up patina uh, the solder lines black. So that's kind of the plan. Now I probably will not get to the adding of the zinc tonight, um, or the patina on the stream, but I will video it and then actually put a video out on the making of this as a whole. So welcome, welcome. Let me see. I got a comment here. Marcella, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing tonight? Thanks for coming on. I'm just doing a Tokyo Olympic piece that I was inspired on. I'm going to try and finish it up and get some soldering done tonight on it. How are your pieces coming along? I do appreciate you joining. Yeah, I've been busy too. Um, there's been a lot going on. My full time job has kind of overtaken me here lately, so I haven't been able to get on and stream as much as I want to. Um, I know I've missed a couple Fridays streams, so I do try. I do my best to try and put out a video if I'm not streaming that week, but sometimes things get in the way, and that shouldn't make an excuse for it, but it's reality at times. So, but I am pressing on. I've been reinvigorated since my vacation, and feeling like I'm starting to get caught up a little bit on some stuff. So, which is great. Makes me feel great, at least. And like as always, if you got any questions, uh, feel free to ask them. I'll do my best I can to answer them. I am working on some on a trip too. Oh, well, traveling is a good thing. Um, it since COVID, it's been so long since I've been able to go on a trip. Um, I've really, I was really happy that I was able to, me and my family were able to go on one because we have been itching to go. So, where did you end up going? If you don't mind me asking, where'd you end up going? I On my trip, I went to DC. Oh, Patagonia. Oh man, that must have been nice. Um, I've seen pictures from down that area. It's really beautiful. So northern Patagonia, so up mountain area. Uh, there's some really cool mountains in that area, isn't there? If I remember from the pictures that I'd seen. Yeah, I like going to different countries, glaciers, mountains. Yeah, I love visiting other countries. Um, I've been to, let's see, Yugoslavia, um, Italy, Japan. Those are the um, main ones that I have actually been to. Freezing cold, really. Oh well, I guess it's winter down there, isn't it? Because the southern hemisphere, it's opposite from us, so it's actually your winter down there, I believe, if I remember my schooling. Did you do any like skiing, or was it just really just sightseeing? Oh, it was not a vacation. Oh, work, I guess. I take it. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, you were born and raised there. Well, that's kind of cool. Chilean. Oh, okay, okay. That's awesome. Uh, always love meeting people from other parts of the world. That's awesome. You know, the previous the last artist spotlight interview I did um, was I don't know if you caught that or not, but it was Hannah Gregory. She's actually from Australia, but she is currently in Wales. Um, so that was pretty interesting talking to her, and I love the accent. um, but yeah, she was very, very smart. She knows a lot about stained glass, um, and I learned so much just on that interview from her. It was pretty cool. Um, she things are not working the way they should. There we go. But yeah, she gave me some really good tips. Um, on the cast about looking at how to look at things when you're designing and so forth. So it was pretty cool. You could actually catch it on the replay if you're interested in it. But it was pretty cool interview. Um, can't wait to do some more of those because it's always interesting to get the perspective of other artists uh, that do stained glass. Just really intrigues me. So we're going to move on to soldering now. Um, get some of this stuff out of the way. Now the exciting part begins. Let's move this here. Let's get her all sized up here. And when I actually transferred the pattern to the glass for this one, um, I've actually resorted to cardstock now. I'm printing my patterns out on cardstock. Um, I've kind of, started uh, weeding my way off of the glue paper method. The only time I probably will use that if I have a lot of dark glass because it's just so hard to see the marks on dark glass. But I'm gonna probably start using this method more. And just trace around the cardstock paper. All right, so let's go ahead and pull our flux in. And I tell you what, the solder that I have really started migrating to, um, and no, I don't get any commission or anything else um, talking about this particular solder, but I tell you what, I find it a lot. Uh, it's easy to use, and it just always sets up really well for me. And then also accepts patina pretty well as well. So it is the Amerway solder. Um, this stuff is really good. I like it, so I've been really migrating to it. I've gone away from the old solder that I used. Just this is just a little bit more expensive than what I used to buy. And it wasn't bad. The other solder wasn't, but I just found that after I used a couple roll of these on some other projects, that it actually worked out really well. So again, it's called Amerway solder. Is the 6040 Sapphire is what I'm using on this particular project tonight. Trying to get into a angle that will be really good. And then at times, if you want me to pull down, let me know. I will see if I can adjust the camera a little bit and zoom in a little bit closer, just in case. So we're going to do some tacking here. So I'm using gel flux. I like to use the gel flux versus the other stuff, paste or the liquid. The liquid runs everywhere. I don't like that. Um, the gel just pretty much stays where you put it. And I'm just going to hold everything and tack everything together. Some people ask why I don't pin. Um, I should, but sometimes I find that it's more hassle, I guess. But I really should. I need to invest in a blocking system, which will probably be a little bit easier than just pinning. Um, and we'll probably get tighter joints, I guess you could say. Trying to get all the areas that I'm going to actually. Okay, so the angle's very good. Awesome. Okay, so I think I got all the areas I'm going to tack on all flexed up, and let's go at it. Now, some people say hold it like a hold your like a pen. Um, I find it honestly, I find it uncomfortable for me. So I actually hold it like this, keeping my hand neutral in a neutral position. Um, I just find it more natural for me, but everybody's got needs to find what works best for them, what feels right for them. But I do know there are a lot of artists use the pencil hold when they actually solder. I'm just going around tacking all the little corners together so it'll hold up and hold itself in place. Did I flex that up there? We'll find out. No, I didn't. It's like I can't remember if I flexed up here. Yeah, I've been taught to use pins on styrofoam. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that I have cardboard, some thick cardboard that I use sometimes. Um, so, but everybody, like you said, everybody finds their style. Everybody, what best works for them. And if I don't get, see your question right away, I apologize. Um, or a comment. I do want to show you because I think it's a good point that some people are taught to use pins and styrofoam, and pinning is a uh, good thing to do. And if I'm teaching a new person, uh, then yes, I'm going to teach them really everything correctly. I guess you could say that I should be doing it now, um, but these are really these are customers um, items. I would definitely be blocking it up because I want to make sure I um, get good seams. Uh, I don't have a lot of big gaps, but the connection in your area is bad. But it's a spot. It's not. The maker of glass. The maker of glass that I'm using is actually Kokomo glass. Yeah, I believe it's Kokomo. Um, I live actually 2 hours away from Kokomo glass, the glass producer. So I'm able to at times go up there. Now, a lot of the glass that I still have, I'm actually using from, yeah, Kokomo. Yes, that's correct. Um, I'm, uh, a lot of the glass that I currently have is I went over to Illinois and did a big buy over there. Uh, what was it? Last October. Um, I did a big buy over there of glass, and I'm still using a lot of that of what I currently have. I do order some um, a lot of times just because it's just more convenient. But being only 2 hours away, it's really actually nice and is convenient, um, as you stated there. um, but I love actually going up and raiding their scrap bins. They have two large scrap bins because they actively produce glassworks artwork there as well, and so it's really nice to be able to go and raid their scrap bins and all the different glass that they've used on different projects. And it's actually pretty big pieces that they actually have in that scrap bin, and they sell it by the pound, and it's actually pretty cheap. So it comes very, very nice, especially if you're only working on small projects. So you can probably find glass that will fit your project. Granted, it might be one piece projects that you can't reproduce in the same unless you buy a full sheet, but it's still, the options there, and it's pretty nice. It looks like I've got pretty much everything tacked together. Um, there's one area I want to tack down here. And now I'll actually go into soldering. Now, there is some different methods that people use. Um, some will go straight on and do a full bead solder, over this at one time. Um, on my finish side, which is this side right here, I actually like to do um, a flat bead solder, and I'll actually use 50/50 solder for this. Um, it is just some, cheaper 50/50 solder, but what happens is it forms a base for me, a real nice even base, or somewhat of an even base for me. So I will actually go through and do a flat solder through the area, and basically fill in if I have some gaps and so forth, and get that nice base solder done. Um, and then I will flip it over and I will do a full bead solder on the back side in 60/40. And then I will flip it back over and do a finished bead solder on the finished side. It is more work, but I tend to have the finished side come out a little bit better than if I do one full solder bead. But because knowing me, I spend a little bit more time fidgeting with the solder beads, which the more time you spend fidgeting with it, the more it heats up. So if I have an even base, then it's a little bit easier for me to go through and I don't spend as much time on it. So that's just something that I do on how I put my pieces and solder my pieces together. Um, some people just go right through, and nothing wrong with that either. So I guess you learn um, what works for you and what your habits are um, as you begin to do pieces more and more, and just find what works for you. So I flux everything up good, and I'll just go at it. Guess maybe I lost you, Marcella, maybe because of your connection. I just got some new glass in today that I ordered, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I did an unboxing of it, so I'll be um, I will be putting that video out, that unboxing video out on Monday. I'm going to be using it on a project um, for a fellow creator. So it's going to come out really cool. Is that angle looking okay, or do I need to go in a little bit closer so you can see the soldering? I might be able to do that. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. I it gives me something to hold on to, full grip, because if I have to hold it like this and pinching it, it actually bothers my carpal tunnel. So if I'm at a full grip, it allows me to rest my hand. Basically, I don't have to pinch so down. Um, is it heavy? Yeah, uh, it does get heavy a little bit, but uh, you rest every so often, and you should be okay. Well, for me, it is. Um, I got this long one here, so I can. And you can do it this way as well. Just put you some blobs down, and then you're not holding it either. So It's going on pretty good. Um, so far, I haven't had any issues with it going on. Sometimes you get those spots where that you don't catch while you're foiling that may have some oxidation on it. Um, I had somebody in the studio working on a project that they solder wasn't sticking to it, and I noticed when I went to help her out, the uh, the foil had some oxidation on it, so we had to clean that foil off um, pretty good so that her um, solder would stick. So we used some scouring. I have a copper Brillo pad. We use that, and then we use some vinegar and water mixture to get it off, and it cleaned it right up. And then right after that, that solder went right on, no problem. Um, I do keep my solder in my caddy, and then of course on my um, table solder, or yeah, my caddy and my table foiler. So if it sits there for a long time, it's got potential to oxidize. So I have to check it. But luckily, it's only the first, full roll around that you'd have to check everything on just to make sure the oxidation's gone. I know some people actually, if they're not going to be foiling for a little bit or they're taking a break, um, they'll actually put it in Ziploc bag um, just to kind of keep it airtight or any air from getting into it. They'll squeeze all the air out of the Ziploc bag and keep it that way. If they're not going to be doing anything for the time being. Okay, so now I'm going to go around and tin the outside edges before I flip it over. And then I'll do a full solder bead on the back. And then I'll have to let it cool. I mean, I should let it cool now, but I think I'll be okay for right now because I'm not sitting on it too long. Um, yeah. Are you talking which tip, the Ziploc bag or the vinegar and water mixture to get the oxidation off? Okay. We flipped it over here and we are ready to do a full solder bead. Oh, wow. Did I just do that? I did. Oh, well. I just did my flat solder bead in using the Amerway, not the 50/50. I just caught myself. Oh well, that's okay. Oops. It'll just come out even better. Way I look at it. Now, how do you clean after you solder your piece up, Marcella? How do you clean your piece? Um, just soap and water, or do you use a special cleaner, um, or what? I like to see what others, how others clean their pieces, because there's different ways that you can clean it. Some people have good, really good tips on how they clean it and make sure that all that flux and residue gets off. Um, so a lot of times, depending on what flux you're using, is how much you actually have to clean, because the liquid flux actually comes off the easiest. Hot water and soap. Okay. The liquid flux comes off easy, pretty easy. But as you get into the gel and the paste, um, it likes to really stick on to the glass pretty good. So you might have to use a lot more elbow grease or a cleaning solution. Um, Me personally, I have a what do they call it? Gunk away, or trying to look over. Let me see what that is. They actually have a cleaner called Crud Cutter here. That pretty much it's a BIOS safe type cleaner. Um, doesn't really hurt anything, but I think it's citrus based maybe, or have some citrus in it, and it'll cut through that flux, the paste flux and the gel flux pretty good, and really clean your piece up good. Um, I really like it. Um, it has really helped to make sure that my pieces are clean. So now when I do my final solder bead here, um, I like to go back over get to the corner first, and then I'll go back over it, and then I'm going to try and leave it alone unless I see a spot like right here I don't like, and then I'll do that. Um, that's what I mean by fidgeting with the darn thing. I've got a tendency to fidget with it, trying to get that ultimate smooth solder bead and clean solder bead. I wax it. I do a wax. I've got a glass wax that I use at the end that protects the solder line, and the glass itself, and really shines it up. I can show it to you here when I have to let this cool. We could have more of a discussion um, at that point. Oh, apart from just washing. Um, oh, okay, that was it. Okay, cool. Sorry if I'm not as talkative right now. Concentration. See, it's just, beating up pretty nicely for me. Um, the corners I tend to struggle with a little bit because I tend to have too much solder in my corners. So I try and work them enough to where I can still have evenness with them. I hate when I get those big old blobby corners, but sometimes you can't help them, depending on the size of maybe you have a gap at that area, um, or something. So then you have a tendency to have bigger blobs in those corner sections. But I'm doing my best to kind of make sure that that doesn't happen on this particular piece. That's why you kind of see me starting in the corner and trying to smooth that out first and then come back and pull away from the corner. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to focus and you're trying to, you know, concentrate on what you're doing, and you may get caught up in either way, and then you go, "Oops," and make mistakes and not catch what you're doing. See, we got a few people in. Welcome. If you're just joining us, this is a piece from the inspired by the Tokyo Olympics this year. And this is a personal piece. If you got any questions, you can put them in the chat. I'll try to answer them. But I appreciate you coming in and watching. Just trying to create a community of glass enthusiasts, I guess you could say. I like talking about glass, and I like sharing what I've learned with others. And I hope you find that the content that I produce is helpful if you're just getting into glass, or if you are a experienced glass artist. I would love to hear your opinions on things, um, or even come on the show. Really, any glass artist can come on the show in the artist spotlight interviews that I do. If you're interested in that, just um, drop me an email. Should be able to find that in the about section of the channel. Um, I'm open to bring different people on the show and talk about glass, because I think it's just great to hear perspectives from different people, both experienced and new people, because people get taught different ways. Some people are self-taught. Some people go to school, attend classes, and it's just interesting how people learn to do stained glass, and how they're taught. So I like to see what techniques other people are being taught. Like I said, I'm going to stay on until I get it done. So I understand if people have to go, um, but yeah, I'm going to stay on until I get the final solder done on the other side as well. There I go, fidgeting with my solder lines again. I am going to be someone's turning the tables on me tomorrow. I am actually going to be interviewed uh, on the huddle with Walter Strong. Um, so that's going to be tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, so this is actually be my first time being interviewed. Um, so that's going to be interesting. The topic is actually how I'm using YouTube to grow my small business. Um, so that's going to be an interesting discussion, and the things that I've learned and from this. So if you have an opportunity and you have the time, be sure to drop in. If you follow me on Instagram, the link is there. It is also on my Facebook page, uh, Score Art Glass Facebook page. You can find me Uh, you can look up Steve Owens, or actually the links down in the description to all my social media sites. So, and you can find the link on that and one of my posts there as well. Okay, so let me do the tinning around here. Now, if you're putting zinc edge on, Marcella, do you tin your edges by chance? Because I've seen some people don't, and I always wondered why. Why wouldn't you tin those edges? I don't know. Uh, I find it's better to do that. I've got to make sure these are kind of flattened out though. So as I put that edging on, I'm not too I can use the solder from trying to pull off of those areas to tin these edges. Oh yeah, tin the edges. Oh, is my mic a little low? I can boost it up. I didn't realize if it's running that low. All right. So now I actually need to let that cool for a moment. Oh, okay, cool. Now I just got to do a quick check here. Okay, so I've got a tag here. A very, very tiny tag. Man, I want to be able to show you, because you want to make sure that you're looking for these. To me, they kind of pop out pretty good. Ooh, that's a little warm. But right here, I don't know if you can see that. There is a bit of copper foil that is sticking out that is actually not in line with the rest of the foil to make a straight line inside that glass. So it's like there's something rolling around here. So when I see these, I want to take them out. And you just got to use your razor knife, and they come right out pretty easily. It really makes a better line on the inside there for you. So I like to just go through and check everything. This is pretty good. So now I'll flip it over and just kind of let it cool down a minute. And then back to it. So now I can show you the glass wax that I actually use to finish off my pieces. A lot of people use Lima. I think it's Lima glass finishing or glass polish. I actually use this E.J. Wheaton glass wax. I actually use it when I finish. It's a liquid wax basically, and but it dries kind of goes on pink and then dries kind of like a haze after it is ready to buff off. But I find that it's worked really, really well for me and really shines the pieces up really nicely after you patina them. Now, if it's just straight silver solder and I'm leaving it and I'm not patining it, it really shines that silver up really well, especially with this Amberway solder. Um, it really polishes it up really well. So I've got to wait just another minute or so, and then I'll be able to do the final solder bead on this. Put a little bit more flux down. And this actually should go pretty quick because usually I'm not having to make sure that I've got all the copper foil and so forth. And I've got a base set up, so it should actually flow uh, pretty easily. As you can see, I've had a couple blow throughs right here. So I won't have to really use any solder in that area. All right, we're going to go ahead and get it finished up here. I don't know if you can see that real well, but um, it's beating up really nice. And I'm not getting a lot of large clumpiness in the corners, which I'm happy about. When your teacher uh, teaches you to solder, Marcella, is there a particular technique that he um, passes on to you all? I mean, is it the hold the solder on and just keep going, or um, piece by piece? You know, kind of like what I'm doing. And then I also know some people actually solder doing this. Um, I've seen it, and At times it works for me, and at other times uh, it leaves that ripple mark, which I don't like either. But I guess there's a technique in how you do it that way. Um, but it really does. When I do get it right, it really leaves a nice clean solder line. Um, tap 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 tap. Basically. Um, I don't know. It's everybody finds their way, but I did find that one to be useful at times. But to me, I just add a little and just move a little at a time, and so I'm not a fast solder person. I know some can do it just putting it on there and going, and they can solder pieces up really, really quick. Um, I've just I haven't got the knack of that one yet. So you've had two teachers so far. So are they pretty consistent on what they teach you, or is it is there some difference in what and I guess their philosophy or what they think techniques you should use? Solder in order. So what do you mean by in order? In order of top to bottom, uh, left to right, right to left. Ah, longest lines first. Okay, understand. So when you come across your corners, you continue on, and then the shorter lines you come back and just blend in. Am I correct? Kind of like this one right here. So you just sit there and you blend it in. Ah, okay. Yeah, the bits remain. Yep. So, we're getting there. We're almost there. Okay, so here's where I got that blob. I'm going to pull that blob back up. Getting a little too much solder on my tip. Yeah, when I first started out soldering too, I was really messy. I would have blobs coming off of my pieces. Um, yeah, it happens when you first solder, when you first start soldering, because you're still trying to figure out how much solder do I put down, um, and stuff like that. So it does happen quite a bit. Okay, right up there. Do this area right here, and I think we'll be done. I have to go back over and check everything. All right. Then add in a little bit more right here. There we go. And I think we're done. We got to let it cool down real well. Actually, I guess I could kind of be a good stopping point here. Hopefully, let me try and turn it around here. Maybe you get a better look at it. Uh, Hope you've enjoyed the stream tonight. And appreciate everybody attending. And again, if you're on the replay, if you got any questions, ensure to leave it down in the description below. And if you want to support the channel, ensure to subscribe to the channel first off, and hit that notification bell so you get notified when I load new content or when I actually do lives and the artist spotlight interviews. Another way you can support the channel is through the Buy Me a Coffee link. It'll be in the description below. I do have extras on the site, and we'll be putting more information out on there to how you can support the channel even more. This allows me to continue to do projects, buy the materials I need to do these projects, and do tutorials and do these lives and so forth. So I would appreciate anybody who's willing to support the channel in that manner. I do have a goal to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you know people who are interested in stained glass and want to learn or just enjoy stained glass, be sure to share the channel with them and help me reach that goal by the end of the year. So I appreciate your attendance. And with that, I will see you on the next stream.